पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Let's start.
जी स्वामी जी। Slide would be shared. The first question.
Yeah. Start.
Ji Swami ji, the first question, by the time the slide would get ready, I hope, is from Ritu ji. Swami ji, what is the difference between Maya and Avidya? We use these terms very loosely, but Maya belongs to Ishvara, who controls it, and Avidya belongs to Jiva.
Today's questions, more or less, are same. They should have been same. I was expecting such questions. Few persons have asked, but who did not ask, they are also want some clearance about this topic. Before we proceed, here we have prepared a chart. We read first it. I hope this philosophy of non-dualism we can understand. So please see the first chart. Raghav, share it.
May I read it, Swamiji?
Very chart. I want chart. Raghav has the chart.
Is this the Ishvara Jiva chart, Swamiji?
Yes, Supreme Consciousness.
It's already been displayed, Supreme Consciousness, Ishwar Jiva.
Okay, yes. So this is a chart. Okay, see the chart. The chart. Now I try. This is a chart. Read carefully. This is Supreme Consciousness and Ishvara, Jiva, and Ishvara is one. Jivas are many. The condition of Ishvaras is Maya. The conditions of Jivas, avidya, ignorance, and creation of the Ishvara is universe, and man's creation is greed, anger, attachment. So, for understanding how to understand it, we read it from upper side. For practice, we will go from downside. So this is the first to understand. So this is supreme consciousness. I think there are so many confusions. So this is supreme consciousness like a space. Supreme consciousness is like a space. Supreme consciousness or pure consciousness, you can say without Maya, beyond Maya, pure consciousness, only consciousness, nothing else. And this consciousness is everywhere, like a space. It has no name, no form. Space does not have any name. This is my space, this is your space. Space does not have any form. So just an example, keep in mind the supreme consciousness is like a space. Without name, without form, just space. And this supreme consciousness has nothing to do with Maya. Then what happens? Secondly, there is a Maya. We read it as Prakriti. Prakriti. Prakriti, Shakti, Raj, Tam, three gunas. So here, Prakriti has three gunas, Sattva, Raj, and Tama. Maya means what? Maya, pure Sattva. Pure Sattva. There is only Sattva. There is no pure Sattva. Obviously, there are Tamas and Rajas also, but they are not in power. They are in dormant states. Only Sattva is. So we call it Maya. Maya. Maya means pure Sattva. Pure Sattva. And it is condition for Ishvara. Mean what? Like your glass, your mirror is very, very clear, then its reflection also becomes very clear. So Ishvara means the pure Sattva of Prakriti. You can say total ignorance. When the Supreme Consciousness reflects in this Sattva, it is God Ishvara. Ishvara. So we call it Ishvara, God, Bhagavan. We have given so many names. To whom? Just remember, we have given names to Ishvara. Ishvara means which is reflected in the Maya. The reflection in the Maya is God, Ishvara, Bhagavan, so many names. You can say this is not pure consciousness. This is consciousness. And in your chart, there is a color. See, the Supreme Consciousness and consciousness conditioned by Maya, you can say Ishvara. Here is also consciousness, same color. And consciousness is jiva, the same color. So your attention should be on consciousness. Now see, the supreme consciousness is like space, no name, no form. Then it reflects on the Shatguna, total ignorance, Maya, we can say so many names. It becomes God, Ishvara. So now I think you got it. What the difference between God and your consciousness. And another part is Prakriti, another part is Tamoguna. Here Tamoguna is in dominating power. Sattva and Raja is there, but they are not in power. So in this state, the supreme consciousness reflects, we call it ignorance. In this ignorance, when supreme consciousness reflects, it called jiva, individual soul with avidya. And one more thing, Maya is one. So see the side, Ishvara, there it is one. Ishvara is one because the pure consciousness, the pure Sattva is one type. There is no other types. Extremely Sattva. It may be only one type. That is why God, Ishwar, Bhagavan, whatever name you can give, it is one. It is a consciousness, but conditioned by the Maya. Conditioned by the Maya. In other parts, when supreme consciousness reflects in ignorance, in avidya, and avidya has its so many varieties, as we discussed before in study, every person has its own ignorance. My ignorance, your ignorance, every person has its own ignorance. So according to their ignorance, jiva, it is many, unlimited, unaccountable. But it is also consciousness, conditioned by avidya, ignorance. And the third part is creation. Creation of Ishvara. So, creation of Ishvara says 5 elements, all universe. All universe is created by God. And Jiva's Srishti means creation is our creation what? We cannot create anything. We just impose our minus, I-ness. So our creation is greed, anger, attachment, detachment, desire. These are our creations. See, there are lands, a piece of land. It does not belong to you. It must belong to someone else. But you buy it, then you claim that this is your land. This minus you have created. This minus, this is my property. This is my property. You now claim because you have bought it. So our creation is our greed, our anger, our attachments, our desire, our renunciation, our possession. So I-ness and my-ness is creation of jiva. So this is the one way to understand. Now listen, way of practice. How to practice, how to go upside. You have to start practicing from man's creation. The method is, First, you start creation of man's creation. Your desire, your anger, your attachment, everything is illusion. Illusion. We have to start from yourself. What is your creation? So our creation is, this is my property. This is my property. This is my illusion. This is my gold. This is my illusion. Before some time, this gold belonged to someone else. Now I say, this is my gold. This is my money. This is my house. This is my property. So our I-ness, my-ness is just illusion. You have to practice first in this level. My creation is just illusion. It is a mithya. It comes and goes. It is not permanent. Then, if you understand your own creation's reality, this is not real, this is just illusion. You have imposed somewhere. This is my chair, this is my house, this is my property. So I-ness and my-ness is our creation, and in very beginning, the seeker should start from here. So my creation is just illusion, nothing else. This is not real. If you understand this one, then the next step would be universe, creation of the God. Now you can think, yes, my creation is unreal. My creation is not real. Now you can think the creation of the gods are not real. The creation of the gods, the universe is not real. What do you mean? Universe is not real. We discussed before, it does not mean there is no wall, there is no stone, there is no tree. It does not mean. When we say the God's creation, the Jagat is mithya, universe it just appears, it does not exist. What does it mean? It means the universe, there are 5 points. Reality, Sat, Chit, Anand, Nam, Roop. Reality is there. Consciousness also there. Happiness also there. Always, everywhere. It is not limited. So 3 aspects of the Brahman, Shad, Chid, Anand, is always everywhere. Everywhere. So this Sat, Chid, Anand, this is the substratum. The substratum is everywhere, every time. But the superimposition is name and form. Name and forms are unreal. Only meaning is, it does not mean there is no earth, no sun, no moon, nothing water, nothing fire, nothing this. It is not means. It means only simple meaning is the substratum is real. Other names and forms are unreal. Then you can practice. The problems comes when we think the world is unreal. What about the stone? What about the Himalaya? Himalaya is there. But it is not always. It may change. Everything is going to change. They are always changing their names and forms. So names and forms are imposed. Substratum is permanent. So first, you think about your creation, then God's creation, then comes Jiva, individual soul. What is individual soul? And we have studied You negate 5 sheets one by one. I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. You have to remove your condition. And if you see that, I am pointing out. So this is the consciousness condition. So when you remove the conditions, what will remain? Only consciousness. Consciousness. Only consciousness will remain. The condition will disappear. Same. So then Jiva's conditions was avidya, ignorance, it disappears, negated. And now you can think about God. And God's condition is Maya. Now you can understand what Maya is, what condition of God's is. And this condition also would be negated. Then consciousness will remain. Consciousness. Then no Jiva, no Ishvara. Just consciousness, both sides. Consciousness, consciousness, and third one also consciousness. Same. Then there is no difference, no duality. Consciousness is the one. So this is the simple theory of non-dualism. Now, we go ahead. Okay. So question is very simple.
Next question, please. Hariom Swamiji. With regular meditation practice, I find that I don't have any emotion which creates disturbance in my state of mind, and it's easy to stay focused. Please let me know that even with the absence of painful thoughts, why I don't experience Paramananda.
This question is from Ava. Right?
Yes, yes, Swamiji.
Meditation. Question is related to meditation. Meditation you have been doing this meditation practice since years, and you have been enjoying too. That is the great thing. Otherwise, meditation posture without meditative minds is very painful work. It is suffering silently in the darkness. We do it as a daily work. We try to finish it as soon as possible. The meditation time is very challenging time. Mind feels suffocated, and it makes you suffocated. Meditation is for happiness. We are doing meditation for happiness. It means now you are not happy. That is why we are searching happiness. If we do meditation for happiness, if you go in the meditation and enjoy some Olympus, some divine experiences, you become happy. But when meditation finished, the problems are same. If we do meditation for happiness, it shows you are not happy. You want happiness. And our happiness is not our own source, from our own source. We want happiness through objects, relations, place, conditions, and we have tried so many ways. If someone satisfied with this happiness, they do not think about God, they do not think about meditation, they are happy. Little bit happiness is enough for them. So they don't want happiness. They are happy. So God, spirituality, nothing for them. The dissatisfaction of this much happiness inspires us to find something more joyful. Joyful state, then meditation, spirituality happens. And the state of meditation is one way to find out spirituality. And we think meditation is also a means for happiness. We enter into it, we found very opposite things. We are hoping I will achieve some happiness. But in meditation, the situation is very up. The situation is very opposite. Suffocation, unhappiness, all process is painful. I have heard so many times same question about meditation. Meditation time is very difficult time. Mind is not controlled. Mind is giving more problems. What should I do? I simply reply them, do not do meditation. Meditation does not create problems. Problems are there. In other states, you may have forgotten some problems, but in the meditation, remind you your forgotten problems. So first thing is, do not make it a mean of happiness. It is enjoyable itself. Do not insist for anything. Do not enter into it as a vigor. Enter into it as a satisfied. Just for nothing to do, nothing to gain. So normally, the meditation will give you sometime happiness. If you are doing properly meditation, meditation will give you happiness, divine happiness. Of course, you will enjoy. If you are enjoying, then you are right way. This happiness comes from your own side, not from any object. But your question is about Param Anand. Paramanand. When you meditation, you will get happiness. This happiness is conditioned. Condition is meditation. When you go in meditation, you are happy. When you are out of meditation, you are unhappy. So Param Anand means absolute bliss. Absolute bliss. Absolute bliss should be without condition. So their meditation should not be conditioned. It must be without condition. Even meditation or any practice may be conditioned. If happiness is conditioned by objects or any spiritual practices, there is no difference. Both are the condition. It is true, happiness which is originated from the spiritual practices is better than objective happiness. But Paramanand, absolute happiness will happen only after self-realization. There is no other way. If you want Paramanand, Anand, happiness is available in pieces. Sometimes happiness, sometimes unhappy. Just for change. But if you want Param Anand, absolute, then it should be without condition. Absolute happiness will happen only after self-realization. Then its source is yourself. No anyone, anything else. Our happiness now comes from somewhere else. It may be objective, object. It may be some spiritual glimpses. It may be some incidents. But it is bound to something else. If you want Param Anand, like Narad asked to Sanat Kumar, I want absolute Anand. Sanat Kumar said, Yovai Bhuma Tat Sukha. Unlimited, boundaryless, unconditioned. Only then you can enjoy. If someone having good food, very good food, and he know after one day I am going to die. He does not enjoy the food. He does not enjoy anything because I am going to die next. So fear is there. This fear will make you unhappy. Your happiness should be without condition, always, everywhere. And it should be only spiritual practices, self-realization. You are always with you. You cannot leave yourself. There is no way. You cannot leave yourself. And fortunately, your nature is bliss. Your nature is bliss. So always you are available for you. But this source has to be discovered. Kabir, somewhere written, and in Kabir's words, he says, Sahaj Samadhi. Sahaj Samadhi, spontaneous meditation. Sahaj Samadhi, no effort required. Kabir says, Sadho Sahaj Samadhi Dhani. O disciples, the best thing is spontaneous samadhi. There is no need to make any effort. Close your eye, close your ears, control yourself. Yes, they are necessary in basic levels. But in this level, Kabir says, Sahaj Samadhi. No need. Everything is automatic. You are available for you. Always. You do not require to do anything for yourself. So, Kabir says, Sahaj Samadhi. There is no boundary. If you waking state, even you are in Samadhi. You are dream state, your Samadhi continue. You are going to born, your Samadhi will be cured. You are dying, your body is leaving to you, but your Samadhi is there. Sahaj Samadhi, your nature is Samadhi. So, this reality, if we have discovered, then the Param Anand, Param absolute Anand, happiness will never leave you because it is your nature. Next one.
Hariom Swamiji Charan Sparsh. In verse 217, the waking drashta is different from the dreamer. The dreamer is different from the drashta in deep sleep samadhi. Is this drashta the ego? Why is the drashta different in each state and every day? In the verse, it is mentioned that the drashta is the witness of all the three states. Is this the pure consciousness? Can you please explain, Swamiji?
Okay. Verse number 217. Okay. So, drashta means what? Drashta means consciousness which is conditioned with drishta. Pure consciousness is not drishta as well. Drishta means it is a related word. Drishta, drishya. So without drishya, drishta is not possible. Drishta means it is watching something. It is seeing something. It is experiencing something. So drishta means it is experiencing something. Drishta is related to drishya. Without drishya, drishta is not possible. So when we say drashta, it means consciousness is conditioned with some drishya. Now, when drishta, consciousness, see, consciousness, When its condition is waking state, the consciousness becomes weaker. It is like this. To understand this, it is like this. When you are eating something, that time you are eaten. If you do not eat, you are not eaten more. Eaten because of eating. When you start again eating, you become again eaten. Eating not continue, not always. It happens sometimes, sometimes does not. It happens. And in another example, we can take, like we are angry. If that right time you are angry, but you are not always angry. Anger comes and goes. When anger is there, present. When anger is present, if you are angry. If anger is not there, you are not angry. Here also, when consciousness is watching something, we call it drashta. If it does not watch it, it is not drashta. When sometimes it takes condition of waking state. Waking state, now like we are waking. I'm really waking, and I hope so about you. So, in this state, the consciousness is drashta through waking state. So, waking state is conditioned. Our sense organs, our minds is working. So, consciousness becomes drashta because of condition is waking state. So, we call it waker drashta. Drashta in waking state. Now, go ahead. When we go to same dream sleep, dream state, same drashta, same consciousness is the same, which was watching in waking state, consciousness is not changing. Consciousness is the same in dream state too. But the conditions changes. Their condition is dream. So now we call it dreamer drashta. Consciousness is the same. The consciousness of waking state, the consciousness is the same. Same consciousness is in dream state, consciousness is the same, but conditions are different. The waking state, then it was waker. And when it enters in dream state, the waker is no more. There is a dreamer. And same consciousness, when it goes to deep sleep, the dreamer is also no more. But consciousness is there. Consciousness is there. It means consciousness is experiencing through waking state. It is a waker. Their waking state is a condition. When it enters in dream state, then it is a dreamer. Waker is no more. Because waking state condition has gone. Another condition has gone. When it sees through dream state, it is a dreamer. Dreamer was born because dream was happening. When dream is over and it goes to deep sleep, the dreamer is no more. When Jiva comes into waking state, the dreamer, the waker, again born. So don't be confused. It is not being said the consciousness is different. It is not just conditions are different. And according to condition, we give another names. Sometimes waker, sometimes dreamer, sometimes nothing. So consciousness is the same. Just condition is going changing. And according to conditions, we give different names. The waker, the dreamer, and Gyan. And every time when you enter in the dream state, Vakar has gone. Vakar is no more. If you enter again the waking state, the Vakar will born again. But Vakar is the just name, not consciousness. Vakar is just name. If someone cooking some food, you can say this is cook. The same person is driving car, you say driver. Person is the same, just activity is different. And we give another name. Same way. And again the same person comes cook, comes kitchen and started cooking, we say cook. Person is same. So different time, different works he does. That is why we give different names. Now next.
Hariom Swamiji, humble pranams. Swamiji, Maya is understood is the 3 gunas and the 5 elements. Jiva is the combination of all above. Unable to link that this Maya is the power of Brahman. Brahman is absolute reality and just a witness. The reflection of Brahman on Maya is Ishwar. Swamiji, please explain more about Ishwar, Maya and Brahman. Humble pranams.
Same questions. I think some things you got it. What is Maya? Maya, as we discussed, pure Sattva. Now, let me clear. Maya is a 3 gunas combination. It is so. All other its effects. This topic is serious. Very simple way, an example you can take, like you, mirror, and your reflection in the mirror. The same thing I am going to repeat. Brahman is like a origin, mirror is like, Brahman is like you, mirror is like Maya, reflection is like Ishvara. Brahman has nothing to do with Maya. When your reflection happens to so many places, even you are not aware about those reflections. Any reflection has no meaning to you. Reflections be or not, it is not matter to you. You are unattached with reflection. And as we discussed in charts, Maya is the condition for God, not for Brahman. I repeat again and again, Maya has nothing to do with Brahman. Brahman is unattached. Brahman is beyond the Maya. Maya's connection is with Ishvara. And I told Ishvara is not affected by the Maya. Ishvara is always alert, always controlled Maya. And the another part, Prakriti says avidya, it is condition for Jiva, and ignorance control Jiva. Jiva is controlled by avidya, ignorance. That is why we are always behaving same way. I am Jiva, I am bounded, I am unhappy, I am so, I am so. Okay, now next one.
Pranam Swamiji. I'm confused about the definitions as used in the text of pure consciousness and God. In my personal understanding, pure consciousness and God, Brahman, Supreme Lord, Ishvara are one and the same. No form, no name. Absolute. God is. In verse 244 plus 249, when the limiting conditions of the Lord and individual soul are completely eliminated, there is neither the Lord nor the individual soul, only consciousness, like the ocean and the wave. When they disappear, what is left is water. Does this mean in Vedanta, when the word God or Lord or Ishvara is used, it means consciousness with superimposition, limiting conditions? How can God and consciousness be different? Would you please kindly explain?
I think you should read chart again and again. This is the best way to explain. Yes, you are right. Consciousness is the one. Consciousness is the same. Do not be confused by different words. Only thing is consciousness, which is one without seconds. Always, everywhere. This is the truth. It will never change. Then question is about duality, which are in different categories. There is God. God is also consciousness. Jiva is also consciousness. As we explained in charts, consciousness is everywhere. God is God, Lord, Bhagavan, Ishvara, whatever name it should be. And individual soul, Jivas, the consciousness is the same. This is the principle of Vedanta, of scriptures. Consciousness is the same. This example is given here. Water, ocean, waves. Waves also water. Ocean is not apart from the water. Water is playing all roles. Water is ocean. Water is waves. Without water, nothing there. Just waves are there because of water. If there is no water, then there will be no waves. So waves not different apart from the water. So everywhere consciousness is one. The consciousness is pure consciousness. It is the Brahman. The consciousness is God, Lord, Bhagavan. It is condition. Only thing is with condition, with Maya. When with condition, when consciousness is with condition and condition is Maya, we call it God. And if the same consciousness is with condition of ignorance, we call it individuals. When it is without condition, it is supreme, this is pure. Nothing else. Everywhere, like water, ocean, same everywhere. Consciousness is one thing. there is no other. Consciousness is one without second. So this chart is very useful. You read, study again and again. I think your confusion will be gone. Now next.
Pranam Swamiji. In the beginning of this text, it was said that Brahma Satyam Jagad Mithya. And now, in the current section, it is being said that Brahma is Jagat. Does this change indicate the seeker's journey? Please kindly explain. Thank you, Swamiji.
When it was said, Jagat is Maya, Mithya, illusion. That is right. Then now it is being said, Brahman and universe is one, same. It is the same. Only the point of saying is different. There's different aspects. If you see universe as a stratum, then this is truth. When you see the stratum as a name and form, this is mithya. Thing is one. Just how to approach. If you see the name, they are illusion, always illusion. They are illusion, they are imagined. So if Jagat means name and forms, they are always mithya, always illusion, undoubtedly. If you concentrate in stratum is always sub. So if a seeker, the common man sees name and forms. That is why the Vedanta insists always that this is illusion, this is the Maya. Now in this state, the seeker has much understanding than before. He can understand the substratum. That is why here said this universe is Brahman and true. So I think all questions have been answered. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Ishavam Vadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Bitau Vande Bhagavantau Puna Puna Isharo Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.